Hello, my beauties and bees, and welcome to the latest installment of Sci-Fails. I'm your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today we have somebody who is definitely bumbling even more than me. So, if you don't know, now you know, because today we're talking about Joe. Hello, Joe. Joe likes to talk about things he doesn't understand and make claims that are stupid. And especially when it comes to animals. So, today, Joe is going to tell us about 60-foot anacondas are real? What? No, they're... Shut up, Joe. No, we're going to let Joe talk, actually, because he's funny. It's funny to listen to the things that they say on this show. And I get to debunk it. So, are you along for the ride? Because I sure hope so. Let's look at Joe Rogan's 60-foot anaconda. Is it real? Let me get some audio for you.
I have people that told me that they found a 60.
There we go. Let's start it over again.
What is the folklore? Like, what do they say when they say what's the biggest one?
I mean, I have people that told me that they found a 60-foot anaconda. That guy's a drunk. I think
maybe he's telling the truth.
Picture didn't happen.
Remember the movie with Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube?
I remember that there was one.
John Voight had like the worst Brazilian accent ever.
But that snake defied gravity and stuff in that movie, though. That's not realistic.
Sound Brilliant.
I gotta actually watch that movie. I really feel like I should.
It's a terrible movie.
Is it?
Oh, it's terrible, but it's great.
Yeah,
it's like one of those. I think it was like
it's
nothing wrong with a good bad.
It's terrible in the same way that Sharknado is terrible. If you like schlocky monster movies, it's which I do. I'm a schlocky monster movie kind of girl. I love to spend a day laying on the couch with some snacks and drinks and just watching bad movies with my friends. Bad giant anaconda, killer piranha, Sharknadoes, octogrators, whatever you want to throw at me. Especially if it's splicing between two different animals, it just like obnoxiously splicing two different animals. What was there, a crocoboa or something like that? They had a three-headed shark, I think. So yeah, it just depends on what you're into. No, you're not blocked, blessed be. We're talking about schlocky monsters, though.
Movie.
I want to say it's like 90s, right?
Oh shit!
What year was that?
Bree only has one E, by the way. I tried to get a second letter. I was going to B-R-E-A, B-R-E-E, which would have been good for the B thing. B-R-E-I. They're like, nope, you only get one letter. Choose between an E and an I. So I chose the E, obviously, because Bree, it fits the same number of characters as the Bumblebee Piranaconda. That keeps showing up on my feed now that I've been looking at this stuff. Actually, that's a fairly new one, I think. So I think Piranaconda.
But the actual big anaconda. Look at the size of it. The one that's coming behind Ice Cube. The actual big anaconda was like
that's the thing too. It doesn't actually look like an anaconda. I gotta sneeze though.
I've seen that image before. Yeah.
John Voight.
Jeez.
You should hear his Brazilian accent too.
Hopefully, I got that.
It's
that
crazy. It doesn't even make sense.
Wait, does he eat two people at once?
Yeah, bro.
Oh shit!
It's a movie.
Wow.
One person is not scary enough. Got to be tied together somehow.
Could eat you and your family.
Yeah, and it like eats people and then throws them back up for no reason. Like, and this snake eats way too much. Like a snake that ate a person. It's probably good to go for a few weeks at least.
Tied together somehow, and the snake wraps. So they say they've seen a 60-foot one, but
sure.
Do they have an age limit?
Foot.
Like, do they? It seems like when they get to a certain size, nothing's hunting them.
No, they're an
it's
apex
just
predator.
Disease or old age.
So in the Amazon, the cool thing with the Amazon is it's the greatest natural.
So squamates, before he gets into his thing, squamates are very well adapted to having disease resistance. Obviously, they have their own parasites and their own diseases that they do get, but just in general, they have a better, easier time healing from injuries and from disease than we do because they're cold-blooded, which means they don't have to get fevery in order to fight infection, for instance, like we do.
Baddest battlefield on Earth. It's literally just this churning death march. Like life is like a momentary stasis in this like recycling of death, and it's like you fight for it. And a snake that's getting big, like that one that we just caught, like Eleanor. It's like, so we learned that she moves around this swamp and has a home range, and then eventually after a few months, she passes the transmitter. She'll poop out the transmitter. But one of the guys on the team, Pat, is actually whizzing through Acadia University. We've been continuing this. And we've learned that there are so many more anacondas than we thought. And everyone said, the traditional literature said that they're ambush predators, that they only wait. And it's like, no. They're going to places where there's mineral licks in the Amazon, and they stake out them. Like, they're more strategic than we thought.
Oh, so they wait.
So they, like, know where... So, like, the animals that they eat are going to be, like, herbivores, right? Who supplement their minerals in their diet with, like, salts. So they'll go to mineral licks on mountainsides, on rocks, any place where there's exposed salts and other delectable minerals that they need to build strong little babies for the deer, for the capybara, for every little critter that needs to have minerals to reproduce and isn't getting them from chewing on bones. But they will chew on bones too. Capybaras especially will chew on bones if you give them a chance to.
For the animals to lick the minerals.
Yeah, so there's places where there's like a salt deposit, and so you'll get all the herbivores coming there for the salt. And so, but the anacondas will go up streams and strategically target those places. And so one time we saw an anaconda eating a peccary, which is, for everybody that doesn't know, is a wild boar.
Like a javelina.
Yeah. And like I was at a stream trying to take a picture of a butterfly, and I heard this, and I looked down, and there's like a 16-foot anaconda, and it just bent this peccary in half, and it was just looking at me, and it was like, and then it split. And so once a snake leaves its meal, it's very unfortunate, but once a snake leaves its meal, it's not going to come back to it. So the snake left because unknowingly we got too close. So we had wild boar that night. We just threw it on the barbecue.
You stole its food.
Oh, speaking of eating things, Jamie, I think it's just called monkey head.
Did it like start digesting it and then throw it back up though? I'm not specifically a channel for any kind of religion. I don't like... this is a science and debunking channel, blessed be. We like... I look at... what I'm looking at here is claims about giant anacondas, for instance. So I don't know why Christianity would matter there. Velocipaster... Oh, well, I guess if you're talking about schlocky movies and you want to bring up Velocipaster, then Christianity would matter. I don't want you proselytizing in my chat, of course, but, we're talking about big animals and stuff.
I'm dying to show you this.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Yeah.
How old did they get? Like, the one that you got that was 18 feet, how old do you think she was?
The thing is, they have indeterminate growth. So you take a baby anaconda. They're live born, by the way, not in eggs. And so you get a brand new, slimy little anaconda, and they come out, and their food for, like, the jabiru storks, for other caiman, for even fish... the fish are brutal, man. I caught a baby caiman the other day. He had no toes because the piranhas were eating.
Avoiding the answering the question, I don't know why, but yeah, anacondas don't live... for snakes, they live a long time. For animals, they live a long time. For megafauna, though, about average. They live like less than 50 years, right under 50 years, maybe mid-30s.
His toes off.
Whoa.
But the anaconda is interesting because it has this outsized impact on the whole ecosystem because they start off basically as prey. They're just these little 2-foot worms. But then as they grow, then all of a sudden they can eat bigger things. Then they can eat the caiman back. Then they can start eating the birds. And then all of a sudden they're eating capybara. And then you get to the big mamas where they're the top of the ecosystem. They're the top of the food chain. And so you have like black caiman, anaconda, jaguar, harpy eagle, giant river otters. And like those are your top contenders for apex predator in the Amazon.
The harpy eagle's amazing. What a wild looking creature.
Oh, their talons.
They're so big too. Is that the biggest eagle?
I don't think it's I think the Philippine eagle.
The Philippine eagle is bigger. The Philippine eagle has hands that are like bigger than mine. I mean, not that I have huge hands or anything, but they're massive hands. But their claws are as big as freaking dinner knives, and they just stick them into the back of a monkey and it's done. And the ones in the Amazon, yeah, the harpies have huge claws like that too. And they eat sloths and tree monkeys and all sorts of creatures.
Or the stellar sea eagle, but the harpy is just unreasonably large. Like when you see them, you go, that's what that is.
And they eat a lot of monkeys.
They are all three of those species: the stellar sea eagle, the harpy, the Philippine. What's the one in Africa? I can't remember. It's the one that's responsible for the Tuong child, though. The Australopithecine that has the hole in its skull. Someone give me the name of that bird. But the big giant bird in Africa. But they're like human-sized birds. They don't weigh as much as us because their bones are hollow, right? But they are human-sized. You see a harpy eagle sitting up in a tree. There's a human-sized bird sitting up in that tree looking down at you. It's terrifying, right? And I know I was feeling because I was at the zoo, looking through that, looking for where's this eagle at that's supposed to be in this cage. And I looked up, and there it was, a human-sized bird with giant human-sized bird eyes looking straight down at me and holding completely still. It stops you. You're like, oh my gosh. Oh.
Monkeys, and so one of the ways to tell when there's a harpy eagle around, like we'll be walking through the jungle and you just find a pile of bones, because up in that nest 150 feet up, they're just dropping monkeys and sloths, and the babies are ripping them apart, and then they just chuck the bones out. So you'll see like a little boneyard in the jungle.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't last too long because nothing lasts long. It just keeps recycling everything. But when I was a kid, in the rainforest books, they'd say 50% of the life in a rainforest is up in the canopy, and it's like you always say, like, yeah, bullshit. It is. There's more stuff up there than there is down there. So when you're walking in the Amazon, you're under 150 feet of green, 3%.
Yeah, an eagle could definitely lift you, like to throw you off a cliff or something, or throw you out of a tree, Mommy. You better watch out. Like if you were up in a tree, one of these monkey eagles would definitely hit someone that's 105 pounds without a second thought. You would be a target. They would probably, if there was anybody smaller, they would probably be a target before you, but you would not be off the menu if you were the only thing available within their sight and you were sitting in the branches. They'd definitely come, or just knock you right off, or grab a hold of you and throw you into the tree, into the kind of the forest floor. That's the thing about why the sea eagle and the Philippine eagle might have a bigger wingspan like a harpy eagle, because harpy eagles are moving through the trees, right? So they're like, I'm a jaguar. I do a jaguar walk, but no, they're moving through the trees, weaving through the trees. They don't have quite as long a wings as the other ones. That's why they're not considered the biggest birds and the biggest eagles.
Percent of the sunlight is hitting the ground. Most of the action is happening above you.
Wow.
The birds, the monkeys, the bats, the snakes, the frogs, everything is moving up there. There's cactuses and bromeliads and vines, and it's all interconnected, and there's this whole network. The Amazon canopy keeps changing the like when you say how many species are on Earth, and it's like they're like, we really don't know, because nobody can spend time up in the Amazon canopy. There's people that have used hot air balloons. There's people that have used giant nets. You can climb up with a rope, but then like you're kind of limited to one tree.
Yeah, but those nets are so cool. They do is they like have helicopters drop these giant like nets, like you see it like what I think of is like a kid's playland, like we have a place called Going Bonkers, but like Sky Zone and stuff with the nets you climb in. So they'll drop one of those on the treetops, right? They'll just drop it on the top of like a couple acres of rainforest, and then the scientists will actually get down onto that net, which has been secured, and they'll go through the canopy and kind of reach through the net and interact with the stuff on the top of the canopy. I used to watch videos of that my grandpa had on from National Geographic on like VHS, and I used to watch it all the time, and that was what I wanted to do. Like the movie Arachnophobia, the guys that go in there and collect those, I wanted to be one of those people. I had that movie like, oh, it scares everybody. It like made me want to go into the Amazon and collect exotic species. I still do, honestly. If I could get to the Amazon.
We just spent the last 2 months building the tallest treehouse in the world. It's like above. See, can you do treehouse? It's insane. I slept up there for one night. Look at this coming out of the mist. I just slept up there for one night, and in the morning, I couldn't believe what I saw. We woke up and it was like what they tell you in the rainforest books. It was like there was like 3 species of monkeys, like 15 different species of birds. There was things just moving all over the place.
There's my dream
There's
home right
unbelievable-
here. Look at this. I want to live in a place like that out in the jungle. And I want to wake up to monkeys and parrots.
Treehouse.
Little. It takes like 10 minutes to walk up there.
That's badass.
Yeah, apparently it's the tallest treehouse in the world. It's in the middle
What?
of the Amazon now, and we got solar
So how many
panels.
so
feet
bad.
up is it?
I think the floor is.
Oh my gosh, I want to live there so bad, guys. Can I do that? I want to live in the treehouse in the Amazon. Who's coming with me? Ooh, I used to be like a squirrel girl. I used to be really active up in the trees when I was a kid. And even up until I got into my teens and stuff, I was climbing in the trees. It was always climbing the trees to jump into the river, to climb the trees, to hang the rope above the river. Fun stuff like that. How are you going to make coffee in that treehouse? That's a good question. Guess I'll have to DoorDash it. Who's going to bring my DoorDash to me? You need to have some kind of generator or something in there to... you could probably put some solar panels on the roof, maybe? I don't know. There's got to be a way to solar panel that sucker up, right? Haven't you seen the Swiss Family Robinson, a tropical mocha pot you make out of bamboo? Yeah, I'm gonna use bamboo tech like they do in cartoons. I'm gonna invent a new bamboo punk. It's like steampunk but with bamboo technology. If you were reincarnated, would you want to come back as a bird or an insect? A bird, probably. If I could be a smart bird, like a parrot or a corvid. If I had to be an animal. Actually, that's probably one of my top choices. If I had to be reincarnated as an animal, would be a corvid or a parrot. Those would do all right. Obviously, primates are going to be top of the list, just because I'm human and biased, and I want to keep my opposable thumbs, and I want to be able to have a little bit of a large brain at least. Alternatively, some other good options: a whale or a cetacean or a cetacean of some type would be. A cetacean would be good, but I don't want to live in a cetacean in our current polluted ocean, so that would kind of suck. Anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, I don't mind pooping in the bushes.
It's about 110 feet up.
And how long did it take to build this thing?
A couple of months. Took like 3 months, actually. We brought in some expert treehouse builders. These guys, the treehouse community, and
That's insane.
they build tree houses all over the world, but this one, it was like we had to figure out, like, how do you even build a stair? The staircase was half the project. How do you build a staircase to get up to the top of this tree?
It's amazing. You guys did
insane.
an amazing job. I love it.
Yeah.
God, I want to go.
It's beautiful.
I would definitely love a treehouse. Did you see the stairs? I don't care. I love those stairs. Give me those stairs.
Yeah, there it
The
is.
solar panels?
Look at that.
That's incredible. So you get
Yeah.
electricity up there? That's fucking badass.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
And
really
that's still
cool.
there right now?
Still there. No, it just
There.
got there. You see how fresh
See?
that wood is? It's like it's not even.
Look, solar panels. That's what I'm talking about. If I was able to be self-contained in a jungle setting like this, would I feel superior? Ooh, that's a good question. Superior. There are ways that I'm exceptional. I'm a human, so that makes me exceptional to most of the other organisms in the jungle when it comes to being able to abstract thought. So I am exceptional compared to whatever contemporary organisms are living in my environment. If there's other organisms that are, that are superior to me, obviously the anaconda that we started talking about here is exceptional to me. It can, like I was saying, it can heal from its wounds easier. It can live longer. It can sleep tighter. It can literally sleep for months if it has a good meal, I'd want to be reincarnated as a beach animal with few predators that doesn't have to work hard for food. I think Maya's saying she'd want to be a harbor seal, which sounds pretty based. But yeah, as far as feeling superior, like the jaguar, of course, that lives in this jungle is going to be superior to me as far as if I'm there and it's there and we meet with those being the only criteria. It's probably going to have most of the physical advantages over me. So it's all going to be subjective to what's superior. However, if I get injured by the jaguar, I'm going to have a lot better chances of recovery than if I injure the jaguar. If we injure each other and go in part ways, I'm gonna have a lot better chances of recovery than the jaguar, generally speaking, because I'll have access to first aid stuff. That'd be one of the biggest problems out here. Is I'd have to, if I was gonna do something like this, I think I would go back to finish my nursing degree, so that I could properly take care of myself and offer those services to other people in this rural environment.
Even done. Like, I
so
left there to come here.
You sleep there when you're there? That's your spot?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend just slept up there, and
oh my God, you talked a girl into going up there? She must be an angel.
Crazy.
Take me up there, sweetie. You'll win my heart. I promise.
Dude, if you're gonna hang out with me, there's a lot of snakes, a lot of climbing.
Oh,
like,
I can imagine. You gotta go to the treehouse.
I want to go.
So when you wake up in the morning and look out from there, it's got to be insane.
I mean, first of all, the sun coming up in the east, and you have like red apocalypse, beautiful like mist coming off the jungle. And you have spider monkeys like excited because that's a ficus, and so everyone's excited to eat. So all the animals are coming to the treehouse, and so you have like howler monkeys, spider monkeys, capuchins, squirrel monkeys. I can't even name all the birds for you. It'd just take too long. But it's like cacophonous. Like I couldn't talk to you.
There's another one about this.
And so, we were hunting and fishing, and we're just like surviving off the land, going up the thing. And then we started catching the anacondas basking on the sides of the river. And so we just started jumping on these snakes, grabbing them by the neck. The first one I did, I fucked up, though. The first anaconda I ever caught. The first anaconda I ever caught, I really fucked up because I was like, okay, I know how to catch snakes. I've handled big snakes. I know what I'm doing, They were going to come in from the bottom. I was going to come in from the top. I ran in, and I grabbed the snake by the head, and she went whoosh and wrapped my hands. And my wrists are together. And I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, no.
I was like, now I can't get out of this if I wanted to. And the next coil came over my shoulders. And it's a 200-pound snake.
So good rule of thumb with handling snakes, big snakes. I'm not like an expert or anything. I have handled lots of big snakes, though. Because I used to be bigger into the animal hobby than I am now. But handling a big snake, you need to have at least if it's longer than you are tall, you need somebody to help you with it.
On my knees. Shit. And so I went to scream JJ, and I got nothing out. And so I'm sitting there wrapped in an anaconda with my clavicle like turning into a V. My shoulders were almost touching, and I could feel my ribs just about to go.
Oh boy.
And 3 of my friends jumped on. They started untying it from the tail and everything like that, but I came that close.
And also hold your breath as much as possible, because as you breathe out, they constrict. So you're going to be holding your breath as much as you can. Try not to scream. Try to keep your rib cage expanded, all that good stuff. But you need someone else, especially he's talking about catching 15 plus foot anacondas. You need help.
Oh boy,
I really fucked up.
Oh boy, look at the size of that thing. Is that the one?
Oh. That is not the one. That is.
Oh, look at the size of that thing.
And that's not even as big as I get.
How big is that one?
That one is 18 feet 6 inches.
That's big. That's so big.
This one.
They are big, though. I mean, that's a big snake. People are always like, 30-foot anaconda. You don't need a 30-foot anaconda. 18-foot anaconda is enough anaconda to intimidate even the biggest person, right? That's a huge snake. And this one's not even, if you look at it, I think they pulled up bigger here. Its skin's all baggy because it's not even it's not even fully. It's like it hasn't eaten. It's only about 200 pounds. So they get about 350 when they're full. There's the folklore of the 33-foot, 500-pound anaconda. I can't find any evidence for it. People cite it all the time. You can find it cited by like National Geographic and stuff, but finding evidence of the specimen that was measured and weighed that much, non-existent. It's folklore. Folklore that found its way into the record books, but folklore nonetheless.
This is the largest scientifically wild-caught verified anaconda that we have.
Wow.
In scientific literature. I mean, there's people have records.
Right. That's my point right there that people always forget when they talk about 24, 25 foot. Yeah, people have reported those. This gentleman reports one, but that doesn't mean that they've been measured, right? This one is the biggest measured by science. This is the largest confirmed anaconda by length and weight ever measured by science. And it's 18 feet. I think he says 220 pounds maybe.
Bigger ones. I've seen bigger ones. We named her Eleanor after my grandmother.
That's the 18-foot one.
This is the 18 feet 6 inches. She was 220 pounds, but she was hungry.
220 pounds.
Look at the size of that thing.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
So if that one that got a hold...
Now, if she had like a capybara or a javelina in her belly, she would be as like a big around as a barrel. She's huge. It's a huge snake.
Hold of you. That's not this one. It's a different
No,
one.
the one that got a hold of me was 5 feet shorter than this one. This.
And these guys, they have, I mean, they're constrictors, right? They're not venomous. Like, oh, okay, you don't have to worry about their bite. You still have to worry about their bite because they have, a big snake like this especially, are going to have long, spine-like, backwards-facing teeth, right? And their bottom jaw, people talk about snakes being able to unhinge their jaws, right? Okay, so that's not a thing. Snakes, not unhinging their jaw. Their bottom jaw just doesn't have any connection, right? So it's shaped like that, right? So it has teeth ridges on each side here, right? It's shaped like that, and this is just skin between the bottom jaw, and it can stretch out, and it can actually independently, like its arms, it can independently pull food in, and it's covered with backwards facing, like a mantis's arms, backward facing spines of teeth pulling you in. So their bite, while not venomous, is devastating and designed to stab in, pull out, pull forward, stab in. So it's designed to pull you into the mouth, and that skin at the bottom jaw stretches. The skin at the sides here stretch. The top of it has as many bones as like the top of your hands to be able to, with the top teeth, to be able to basically do this with the top part of the mouth. So the bottom part of the mouth is this with raptorial arms, and the top part of the mouth is this with mobile sort of shifting lips with multiple lines of bones that are pulled by the muscles in the back of the head. Look, and you can see how big their heads are. Sorry, I'm getting all excited about this. I get so excited about talking about giant animals and giant snakes, and explaining how their anatomy works. Because people don't, snakes unhinge their jaws. No, they don't. They have basically 3 jaws. They have the top one, which is like this, and 2 bottom ones, which are like upside down mantis arms pulling food in. It's amazing.
This thing is a dragon. This thing is like the Kraken. There's no way.
No, how big do they get?
That's JJ, by the way. I keep talking about. Okay, so here's my measurement. And actually, somebody recently sent me a video of you and Forrest Galante talking about this, about how big can an anaconda get. Me and JJ were out on this place called the Floating Forest one night, and I was thinking about getting on the cover of National Geographic.
I want him to take me to the floating forest, and then we can go back to the treehouse and look at the monkeys. Why can't this be what I do for my vacation?
I was thinking about getting attention at that time,
right?
And but we had gone deeper down the Amazon rabbit hole than anyone had ever gone. We found this place, the Floating Forest, where you're walking on rafts of floating grass, and you're walking past treetops. So there's a forest underneath the lake, but you're walking on the surface of it. And the anacondas love it.
Wow.
because
they can sit on these grassy islands, and if anything comes, the whole thing is like a giant.
And it's kind of like a cypress swamp, right? And there's water plants, water lilies, and stuff, just stacks of them among branches, because the types of trees that grow in this Amazon basin will have a level that's actually at level with the water, or during the flooded season it's at level with the water line, that have, actual branches too, so you're walking on branches at water level. Really cool.
Tympanic membrane. As soon as something takes a step, they're like threat, and they go down. And just like any big fish, just like any ancient giant crocodile, those
He called it like a tympanic membrane, if you didn't hear that.
shrewd old motherfuckers that have been there for a century, that's where they live. And so we were out there like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're walking on these grassy rafts, and JJ's going, "This is Anaconda." And I went, "That is not Anaconda," because the grass was pushed down, but it was this big. And I was like, this can't be Anaconda. He's going, "This is." He goes, "If it was a crocodile," he goes, "you'd see the feet." And I was like, "It just can't be." And then at like middle of the night, the stars are shining in the black water and everything. And we're by the tops, we're in the canopy of a forest on top of a lake, and we see 2 anacondas. One of them is so big that I would say it was probably 24, 25 feet. Gigantic. That was an 18-footer. Then there was like another, like a 16-footer on it. And my first response was, we have to catch this snake. And so I jumped on it. I just didn't think about it. I just jumped on the snake.
Yeah, this is my kind of guy right here. I'm gonna go to the Amazon with this guy and be like, "Jump on that snake and get it for me," and he'd bring me back snakes. That'd be great.
Oh my God.
And so the snake, and I always say, like, Pixar, it didn't happen, but this was the middle of the night. I jumped on the snake, and as I'm holding it, the one measurement I have is that I was holding onto the snake and my fingers couldn't touch. That's how big this thing was. And so it dragged me to the edge of the grass.
What?
That big.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I bet that was a 25, 26-foot snake too. Just so huge.
Your fingers couldn't touch.
Yeah. So like
my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so big.
It's so fucking big. And people said, "Oh, did it eat something?" And it's like, no, that was how big the snake was. And I know, because when she got to the edge of the grass, I dipped in head first. And this snake could have turned around and just eaten me. She didn't. Her head was like bigger than a Rottweiler. It's bigger than Marshall's.
Oh my God.
But she dove into the water. Her idea is just escape, stay alive. So she goes.
Now the snake, the giant anaconda that I've seen and been familiar with, there's only one I've ever seen in person. As far as snakes have personhood, but is the one that lives in the St. Louis Zoo, and its head is about that big. So its head is, if I had to compare, it's not as big as a Rottweiler's, I wouldn't say, but it definitely is as big as a large dog's head. Probably as big as a German Shepherd's head for sure.
Goes down, and my face poked into the water, and I was like, "Fuck that!" You look straight down into hell down there. And I was sitting there holding onto the grass with this giant anaconda rushing by me. 25 feet of anaconda slithering past me, and I put my hand on her. And as she went by, my hand eventually went, and then her tail slipped by me, and I was just alone in the dark in the Amazon, and I'd just seen this dragon. And then I turned around and went, "What the fuck happened to JJ?" And JJ's just standing there, and he turned completely white.
He's a ghost, yeah, I bet.
He was like...
I bet he was a ghost. Man, seeing that big of a snake. Oh my God, that'd be so cool. Take me to the Amazon.
And I was like, "You could have helped." I was like, "You could have helped, man."
So can you just help me out here? Yeah. So the treetops, essentially there's water under the treetops. So you're walking on the treetops. Yeah. So how deep is the water below you?
Like 30, 40 feet.
So you're essentially walking on
grassy islands, floating vegetation.
Is it like in this video? Is
so
it the
yes,
same similar terrain?
So yes, and thank you for not playing the sound on this, but yeah, it's basically exactly like this. See those islands over there?
Good.
Yeah.
I want to see
floating grass.
I want to see the big this is probably during the day though. He said that happened in the middle of the night. So this is probably a smaller one.
So this is actually how we caught the big one. Everyone starts. JJ has unlocked everything. JJ's like, "There's an anaconda. There's an anaconda." Nobody else saw it, and then I'm the only person that's willing to fuck with the head, and so they get the boats. This is literally how we caught the biggest anaconda that's ever been caught. So the camera guy, I was like, "Get the fuck out of here." And I just remember in this moment being like, "Do I really want to do this? Do I really do I really want to do what I signed up to do?"
Do you see it in the grass?
I can see it here. And I'm just going, "Please, I wish. Can I turn back?"
Obviously, we can't see it for suspense purposes. What are we talking about a Ferdy Lance for? Yeah, you don't want to swim with them. Don't swim with the Fertilance. That sounds like it might be a bad time for you and Ed.
And so, for the people just listening, you're standing on the edge of the boat, you jump off into the grass, and you run.
And thankfully, I have a good
GoPro on.
Yep. And then you see, there's my team. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody jumping in. So we had all these people that have all handled big snakes before coming in.
I bet.
And see, I don't have the head. We didn't have the head. JJ had the tail. JJ got the tail. This guy Jonas had the tail. Mosin had the tail. Lee had the tail. Everybody's holding onto the snake. We're using the boat to keep ourselves up. And then I got the head.
Whoa.
And then as soon as I get the head,
Oh, damn.
I know I'm going to get wrapped again.
Oh, my God.
I mean, this is like, look at it. This is like...
And this is the 18
Oh,
footer?
look at that.
Yeah, this is the 18-footer.
Look how massive that snake is. Oh, you can't see the video. Sorry. Let me pull it back up. Holy crap. Yeah, at least they said, hey, this is for people who can't see. they had a descriptor, but let me pull that back up. Okay. So here he's jumping into the water on the snake.
Yeah.
GoPro on?
Yep. And then you see, there's my team. Boom, boom, boom. Everybody jumping in. So we had all these people that have all handled big snakes before coming in. And see, I don't have the head. We didn't have the head. JJ had the tail. JJ got the tail. This guy Jonas had the tail. Mosin had the tail. Lee had the tail. Everybody's holding onto the snake. We're using the boat to keep ourselves up. And then I got the head.
Whoa.
And then as soon as I get the head,
Look at that.
I know I'm going to get wrapped again.
Oh, my God.
I mean, this is like, look at it. This is like...
And this is the 18 footer?
Yeah, this was the 18-footer. So.
Oh, look at the size of this thing.
Yeah, so when people are like, why didn't you catch the 25-footer? I'm like, well, look at this.
The difference in just like I'm seeing how big this is, it's unbelievably big. And the idea that something was almost 10 foot bigger than this.
Yeah.
And much thicker around.
Much.
See, that's how the story starts. That's how the story, the exaggeration starts. Hear what Joe just did there. It's a good example of how tall tales get taller. He took an 18-foot snake here and then described the other snake that he was talking about, 24, 25 foot, and said it was almost 10 feet bigger than the 18-foot snake. So now we've gone from a 24, 25-foot description to a 28-foot description of a snake, right? Or longer, a 28, 29-foot description, because he's talking about 10 foot longer than this snake. Could be, anywhere in that range. So the story's getting more exaggerated. Now all of a sudden we have a snake that's approaching, it's approaching 10 meters, right? Which is phenomenally long.
Much thicker around. This girl was skinny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in a second they'll show us walking with her.
That is so wild.
And you get a sense of really how big she is, but.
And you got to keep a hold of that. That bitch is gonna swallow your head.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at what is that feeling like where you're holding on to the head of that thing?
It's like, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker.
Completely wild.
Yeah, so that was, Joe talking to this guy about giant anaconda. Now, this guy is talking about actually swimming with them. I'm not going to play the sound on this. I'm going to see if I can't play this without getting a copyright strike, but we'll see what happens. This is the new species that can grow up to 24 foot, 500 kilogram. This is the new giant anaconda. I don't think this one is the new species. This is just the this one was one of the big anacondas. But yeah, that pretty cool, right? Now, the problem with this is the media. They just go and run with this nonsense. Even Reuters, who is generally pretty good about this kind of stuff, makes it sound like they discovered a new species of giant snake in the Amazon, and they didn't. Look at this title here. New species of Amazon anaconda, world's largest snake discovered. That's not what happened here. So they took the existing species of anacondas in their range, E. maritimus. They took them in their range, and then they said, do a genetic test of the ones in the north and a genetic test of the ones in the south. And then they said, hey, these are distinct enough to divide it into two distinct species. So that's what happened. They didn't discover a new species of giant snake in the Amazon. They took an existing species of giant snake divided it into two distinct species of giant snake, which are just distinguished as northern green anaconda and southern green anaconda, and then and just divided them up that way. That's how they did it. They didn't discover anything new, but they're gonna spin it that way for some reason. I don't know why. This is from in February. Like I said, I was waiting until it kind of cooled off before I touched it to see if any actual, real professional herpetologists were going to address that before I address it with my nonsense. But researchers in the Amazon have discovered the world's largest snake species, an enormous green anaconda, in Ecuador's rainforest that split off from its closest relatives 10 million years ago, though they still look nearly identical to this day. A video shared online shows the scale of these 20-foot long, 6.1 meter reptiles as one of the researchers, Dutch biologist Freek Vonk, swims alongside a 200 kilo specimen. 440. No, that's way too big. That's not realistic. That is not. And Dr. Vonk is usually pretty on. They probably didn't quote him directly. It's just somebody said about that video. But that video is not a 400-pound snake. That's probably close to the same size as the one that they just showed on Joe Rogan. Probably 200. Could be up to 250, maybe a bit heavier than the one that they showed that looked a little hungry on the Joe Rogan Experience just a moment ago. It was thought that there was only one species of green anaconda in the wild, the Eunocetes marinus. But this scientific journal Diversity this month revealed that the new northern green anaconda belongs to a different new species, Eunocetes akiyama, where what we were there to do was use the anaconda as an indicator species for what kind of damage is being done by oil spills that are plaguing the Yasuni in Ecuador, because oil extraction is absurdly out of control, researcher Brian G. Fry said, which should be the main topic of the story, but I digress. Yes, we are destroying these ancient environments, these primeval environments, but drill, baby, drill is the message that we get from our leadership. And that's across the globe. Fry, as an Australian professor in biology at the University of Queensland, who for almost 20 years has been investigating anaconda species found in South America, told Reuters the discovery allows them to show that the two species split from each other almost 10 million years ago. But the really amazing part is, despite the genetic difference, and despite their long period of divergence, the two animals are completely identical. Although green anaconda snakes are very similar, there is a genetic difference of 5.5, which is surprising, which surprised the scientists, which is an incredible amount of genetic diversity, said Fry, particularly when you put it in context that we're only 2% different from chimpanzees. Just to put it in some perspective there. Anacondas are incredibly useful sources of information for the ecological health of the area and the potential impact of human health of oil spills on the region. Some of the snakes they studied in parts of Ecuador were heavily polluted by oil spills, and the anacondas and the Arapiama fish are accumulating a large amount of petrochemical metals, he said. That means that if Arapiama fish are accumulating these oil-spilled metals, that they need to be avoided by pregnant women, just like women avoid salmon and tuna and other parts of the world for fear of methyl mercury, he said. Okay, so that's I'm glad they actually put that ecological touch on the end here about the oil spills and stuff. Because, yeah, we need to think about that when we're doing our processing. Anyway. Yeah, I think that wraps this section up. So, yeah, giant anacondas, yes. 33-foot anacondas, no, for right now. As far as I know. 25 foot. I believe him when he says he's jumped on one bigger than an 18-foot one. I think he's probably handled enough snakes that I believe a 25-foot anaconda has definitely crawled out of the woodwork for him. And 220 pounds, totally reasonable. I'm here for that. That's a reasonable sized snake, and I think that that was presented well. But a 60-foot anaconda, ridiculous. A 45-foot anaconda, ridiculous. Not in modern day. We don't get snakes that big. Just there's just no ecological niche available for something that big today. But what do you think? I mean, if you believe that there's a anaconda out there that's over 30 feet, over 10 meters, explain to me why. Give me your example in the comments down below. And as always, please remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time.